Hello everybody, I want to show you my next project. It's all nasty and I'm taking it apart and I'm going to clean it while it's apart, and then I'm going to glue every piece together and put new screws if it needs it. You can tell parts of it's kind of loose and it was just so wobbly. And this is the bottom shelf on it. It's like a little table. And that's the bottom shelf. That's what the top looks like too. And the top has a crack in it I gotta fix. I'm not wild about that pattern. I was thinking about filling it up with putty before I paint it, but I don't know if I want to go through all that trouble. And that's the legs to it. I think they'll look pretty distressed. And so I'm gonna take this apart and clean it, and that's what I'll be working on. Okay, I was painting the inside and got a little carried away, and I was going to do a wax on it, like a white wax, but I'm low on wax, so I'm just doing it this way. And it's kind of dry brush, but kind of heavy, because I'm going to paint parts of it pretty much solid. So I got one coat on this side. And so I'll show you. I'm just raking it off on the side of the jar. And then see, it's not dry brush really, I don't guess. And I may end up having to do this, you know, like 4 times or so, because I want it to look like it's white, or well, plaster color, with just the dark crevices in there. Like right there, I'm painting it solid. And right here, pretty much solid. So I'll probably go over that a little more, because it doesn't really match that good. And I don't know about this edge. And then the top, I'll probably do solid, except maybe around the edges. Okay, this is what I've gotten so far. And the legs, I've only done the places that might be hard to get to with paint once I put it together. And maybe I can zoom in. I've already sanded and roughed it up some. Maybe you can see. And I'll show you what I've done on the legs. I've only done the edges, because the top will be here. And I've done this inside part. And I've also done the foot, because I figure that'd be hard to paint there at the bottom and get it fairly smooth looking. So I'll still have all that to do once I put it together. Okay, I finished painting, and I'm about out of my Waverly paint, and because of the situation with the virus, I guess that's why I can't find any more Waverly paint, and so I had to use ivory on the legs instead of the plaster color, and then go back with plaster on top of the ivory, because I would have run out, because I did 3 coats. I would have ran out doing 3 coats of what I had left of the plaster color. But it worked out, and there's some bleed through, but that's fine, because I'm gonna use some antiquing wax or something to make it look older looking anyway. And so you can see all the details. And then I'll show you the top. And I have cut out this rice paper. I cut it, you see the lines that's built in there, I just cut it around that shape of that line. And that's all I'm going to put on top. And then I'm going to add just a little bitty something on the bottom shelf. It won't be near as big as that. And I've got my 50% water, 50% glue, school glue. That's what I'm going to put it on with. And since I'm running out of products, I may have to go over it with Mod Podge all over, and then use the wax or whatever sealer. I don't know. I'm just running out of supplies. I'll figure something out. But there it is. And there's a little doll bed I've done sitting over there. So I'll be back. Okay, in case you haven't seen my videos where I showed how I do the rice paper. Well, my arm's gonna be in the way. I hold it where I want it. And I fold it back. There's probably a better way, but I don't know. And I really want to get this where I want it because, you know, it's cut to the shape of that design on the table. So I'm just going to do this very edge. Usually I do a little more, but I got to be careful with this. Looks like it's going a little far down. Now if this was tissue, I'm sure it would have torn by now. And I don't know if I had that outline to begin with or if it shifted on me. But see, I got to keep an eye on this up here too. So what I might do is cut that off if I have to, because see, my point's not. I want my point to match more now. I can cut that. So let's give a little tug here. Okay, so I got my corner correct. Yeah, I'll go back and I'll trim that. And while it's all slick with the glue, I'm gonna make sure I got all the air bubbles out. And I'll do that and I'll Mod Podge the whole thing and then I'll be back. Look at all that good grunge I got from the bleed through. That was kind of a pleasant surprise. I didn't know it'd start with the bleed through all over again, but it did. And even in the legs. What I don't like is the bleed through on top, but I can fix that. And right here you can see where I had the glue, it crackled. You know, the glue that I put my rice paper on with. And I didn't use the Mod Podge because I forgot how bad that stuff stunk. I ended up using the polyacrylic. And I got, you know, I put the polyacrylic over that glue, water glue. And ended up with some crackles. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back over that. Maybe I can scrounge up enough of the plaster color out there. Then I'll go over it with glue. And then I'm going to go over it with the polyacrylic. Because these crackles, when I put like the antiquing wax on there, I can make that look so good. I hope. That's the plan anyway. Okay, I wanted to show you some of the grunge on the leg where it bled through. Plus, I put a glaze on there that's got some brown, but it kind of gave it a neat look. I couldn't have recreated that, I don't believe. And then through here, I guess that's the grunge. I think that turned out pretty good. Okay, and here's what it looks like from the front. I think it turned out pretty good. And one of the legs is bowed. I didn't know that. And the only thing I gotta do now is put something under one of the legs where it doesn't wobble. And now I'll show you the top. And there's the top of it. And that was, it had to be redone because the streaks that I showed you that was in the top, I had to go back with what little plaster color I had left and paint back over where I'd sealed it. And got around that the best I could with the paint. And I think it's darker here just because I put that glaze with the brown tint in it, and this is really crackled, and that's not as crackled because that's the glue from putting that on. And I kind of put a little more shading in these little corners, and I think it's pretty. Let me know what y'all think. And then I also put a little bit of flowers on the bottom shelf. Not very good lighting in here. But one thing I learned, you know, I had the bleed through in the paint, which was fine with me because I was going, you know, grunge it and age it a little bit. I was planning on aging it more, but I didn't because I kind of liked it, the whitish look. But what I learned is, say you think you can deal with a bleed through and it ain't really bleeding through bad through the chalk paint. Once you put that sealer on, I didn't know the sealer would bring it out even more. I mean, it was, you know, and I was pleased as far as on the legs and the cracks and all, and I'd washed it good with a brush. So it wasn't filth. It was just the bleed through. And so that's a lesson learned. Don't take a chance, especially if it's a big piece. Even if your chalk paint looks fine. It might come through once you seal it. But anyway, I hope you like it. And I hope you hit the like button and share it. And let me know what you think of it. Bye, y'all.